What's poppin'? It's Kai Rosa. This a little far out there for most people or whatever. I don't give a fuck. You look at shit how you want to look at shit. I want to give a quick breakdown or something. So I've been looking at all these, stories about creation and some of the oldest tales, um, specifically speaking about Enki, and that Sumerian stuff. And then it's like a whole bunch of stuff in relations to that. You know what I'm saying? As you really get to get in the sense of the older shit, you really get the sense of how life has worked in accordance. So this video is about how God has learned. Now first and foremost, for God to learn anything, you got to come into creation or existence. And originally, like existence is now. God is just like now coming into existence. God ain't never really, like, if you look at the different words and letterings, symbols and expressions we use to describe and express these stories in our language. God has never really been here. You know what I'm saying? God has never just been here as a total entity, as just like knowing Himself as God. So before anything, we're talking about how God has learned or has came into existence. Because when people speak about God, you often speak about it in like three parables, or three senses, like the God. You're literally losing. My fuck nuggets. You're literally using three different symbols themselves. Now with that, you got the G. You can look at the G and break down that symbol. You got the O, and then you got the D. Now, when you speak upon the G, you're really talking about the conception of nothingness, just like space knowing itself. So when you always got like, the feminine aspect of life, or just, like the feminine aspect of life bringing in creation, the conception of like yourself, what I'm saying? Like space having a conception itself, that's like females, that's like that's what it truly is. I ain't finna argue or debate with you, but like that's the expression of that. That's what it's talking about in a lot of these creation stories. It'll always be a male and a female type shit. You know what I'm saying? Making something happen. So you got, oh fuck no, let me smoke. I'm I'm going everywhere and then some. But you got the G, right? I was breaking down the letters and the symbols. Okay, so you got the G. With the G, you know what I'm saying? You got that going on, basically, representing overall femininity, the conception of self. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about like space having a conception itself. Like space having like its own being or persona, so to say. However you will express that in different shapes and forms. So you got that going on, and then you got the O, right? So you gotta originate. You gotta kind of ornate. You know what I'm saying? You gotta kind of have a fragment of existence, and that comes into play. From just the conception of self, even conceiving that it has a self in the first place. I don't know how much stuff really talk about like the breakdown and senses of like how the beginning was truly created or what they was doing in the beginning of existence. But this is kind of like a breakdown for some of that, if you can follow my drift. So you got the G. You know what I'm saying? You got the ga, 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 ga. You keep doing that shit over and over. Eventually, you make a whole bunch of different stuff. But you may not even necessarily have a knowingness that you're existing or making different stuff. You just keep going through different cycles and spirals and spirals of reality and shit like that. And you make shit come into existence, But this, like, when you talk about this G or just, like this feminine entity, it's not necessarily like a human or persona how you're perceiving it. It's like a living vibration. You know what I'm saying? That's what females are more associated to, rather than getting lost in the creation of words and trying to attach it to themselves. You're not none of that shit. You naturally like create that shit into existence. That's why all these words of like of entitlement or endearment that females hold close towards their heart. The impulse and life and reality in which they carry out and dwell within. It should always be a word that's consistently talking about the growth of reality in some way, shape, and form. It's not necessarily controlling it. It's just like, it's not even about nurturing it, so to say. It's just being in reality as you are. And it's like knowing your vibration, knowing your attunement is how you like bring in stuff that's more in likeness to you. Because instead of like doing big old spirals and stuff to where you're not really making nothing and shit getting further away and more detached, it's like with that G energy, if you start going inwards and whatnot more, knowing oneself and then going out, that's how you create the A. That's how you create the and. That's how you bring out like a different conception besides yourself. And it's like vibration, what I'm saying? I'm speaking on it in like a feminine manner, but don't get lost in the conception. It's like just like a spirit and body living out this totality. I'm speaking about it in the mere aspects of truth of what it is. I'm not trying to compare it to like it's a person like this or this is just like the entity, the energy, like the raw existence itself, you know. So you got that going on. You got that happening. Now, with all of that going on, that creates an A, literally. If you can see it in like a magical shape and form, I just broke down the G and like moving and all that stuff. It's like a wormhole, so to say. It's like a creation. You creating different wombs and different lives, a whole bunch of different shit. And then moving like that, eventually you get so tight, you can start expanding and stuff. Because with you going so tight and whatnot, it's like different things start vibrating and resonating off of who you are in your existence. Now you create something into reality. You create a mind, so to say. A new, whatever the fuck. You you create a motherfucker. You create a person in existence and likeness of your own. But if you just like not, you don't necessarily got a body or anything yet. Or the conception of that. It's just like you got like light and you got darkness. You know what I'm saying? You got like an entity that came from the consistencies of this frequency, vibration, you know what I'm saying, consistently being here in the ways, shapes, and forms in which it dwelt, and then you got a being that came out of that, you know what I'm saying? You got light. Now, when they talk about these different, like first gods of creation, like the first conception of a male themselves, you always speaking over these different kings and entities that are just embracing all of what light are. Now, not just Light, that's talking about like the combinations in which we live in. I'm talking about Lite, the word, the mere power of like existence and life and reality. We all relate to the sense and substance of light and all these different shapes and forms to even conceive these memoirs in which we go through and exist within. Because I can talk about this type of shit honestly, and I get that people don't get it. Like I've been in existences to where like I know how to literally be a shadow or something like that, not just a shadow. It's literally your shadow tool. But I get like literally like being my own shadow. And I'm different from motherfuckers. I had to start getting a sense of that people don't necessarily conceive life in reality like that. Niggas don't be thinking of themselves like that, or even like 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 people see these different aspects of themselves and see it as different aspects. Always see it as like one. With the expression I'm coming across with, it's like light is all of who you are. Now with light being like all of who you are, that's the natural maker of the rest of existence. It's just like a consistencies of that expression coming out into reality. Now, when you break down these different words and symbols, especially from these old tales, at least how we related to the symbols of English, and that's just talking about speaking and mannerisms of the tongue, English. It's like being like like you're engaging life, and it's like just engaging life. You know what I'm saying? It's just I'm not just gonna break down language and stuff like that. I feel like, especially like the overall language thing, that may be too deep. That may need to stay secret. You can break it down as you will, however you get the sense of it. But when you're talking about these different, beings of origins, our gods at the beginning, you break down and you speculate upon the story in which, you know what I'm saying, and how you do. But when you're just looking at the mere symbols, like for instance, Enki, I don't know, Enki, nigga. When you just look at the E, before we get to anything else, just the first symbolisms of the E, the E is and before I break that down, because Enki comes after, I remember, bitch, Enki comes after An. You know what I'm saying? Just An, A-N. It's just another version or accumulation of yourself. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be light. This is like the beginnings of how you even perceive light. This is like particles, vibration, molecules, all little atoms and shit like that before they necessarily fully like resonate with life and reality. Like, in similarities to the woman, to the overall womb in which you're existing with or coinciding with, it's like you gotta kind of become a being. Now when you become a being, it's not like this being is different from just like what it just came from, just darkness and nothingness. That's why it's A'n. You know what I'm saying? The A being like the masculine part and the N being like the feminine aspect. But the conception of space having its own, you know what I'm saying, persona and whatnot is still there. It's just made another version of itself, so to say. I know it's like different words for these different, women's and, spirits and body wombs, whatever the fuck. Well, I don't want to be disrespectful. Wombs, you know what I'm saying? That created these different aspects or created life in that aspects, period. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of explaining how that comes into existence. So after you got the vibration and whatnot, you got the G and stuff going on. You got the O, you know what I'm saying? Your originate, you know what I'm saying? So that's like that on part. You got that AN. After you got that AN, it's like you got this A, which is like kind of like the more what you would consider masculine nowadays or more of a male. Then you got that N, which would you consider more of like female. When you talk about feet, you're talking about more of like the force of energy and reality just moving through existence. F oftentimes it just represents force for real. E is representing that energy with the combination of two. That's force, nigga. That's basically what it's meaning and representing on so many different totem poles. I'm just not gonna break it down too much. You know what I'm saying? You can build up that sense of your shit for yourself. So you got the A and the N. A representing males and shit basically, right? And F representing females basically, right? So we got the basic parameters of what's going on. So we got the G and we got the O in a sense, because we got how this came into reality, how it grew, now we got like the origins, you know what I'm saying? We got like, two different aspects of something, duality, so to say, so we can bring out divinity into existence, now we got 1, 2, and then we got 3, you got the overall space itself. Now we can do something. And the space is aware of itself. It's aware of itself because it's the A and the N, but the space is just existing. So the A and the N is like a man, you know what I'm saying? But the man got a feminine and masculine fucking aspects. So feminine is basically saying you female and male, but you got a feminine, you got a male aspects of yourself since you the A and the N, right? So it's like we got 3 people going on, but even though it's just 2 motherfuckers basically. And the 2 motherfuckers is basically this one being of existence is just alone, this male, so to say, this A and N, while being within, like the whole existence of space, but space knows itself. It's like you just got light, you know what I'm saying, how we would express that nowadays within the vast vacuum, you know what I'm saying, of just nothingness, you know what I'm saying, but nothingness having a conception of itself. That's why you're giving it a name and trying to transcribe it and expressing it life in some type of way. I know I keep kind of re-explaining this shit, but I'm really trying to get you to get the full sense of it rather than me just talking about it in a basic way to where you can't overstand it or understand it for yourself and, truly get what I'm talking about. So you got that going on, right? Now, when you get to the D part of most of these stories about these myths of creation, Big Darius. That's my first name. Right now. That's my first name. That's my first name, Darius. So, when you got the D part of life and reality, you're just talking about getting in denseness. You know what I'm saying? When you look at these symbols and whatnot, just how like you look at hieroglyphics and all that shit, this is just like another language. It's like the same shit going on. Y'all not like perceiving it in that way. But D is just like, it's like you coming into denseness. You coming into reality. You creating something, upon who you are. Now, since, you know what I'm saying, these beings, you know what I'm saying, this light is in existence. It started, you know what I'm saying, since the light is in existence, it's with being with the vast nothingness, like the light started learning about itself. You know what I'm saying? The light, the A and N, the on, it started it started learning about itself and likeness as nothingness, and likeness as this space and womb that it's already conceived with, so they get to learning about each other. with them learning about each other, they basically creating different aspects of who they are. You know, as they consistently do that, it's like the A and An starts moving like the nothingness that was already there. You know, so the O starts acting like the G. You know what I'm saying? You start going. You know, you start making shit in life in reality, because y'all, you know, y'all might not necessarily be moving in how y'all consider movement in this life in reality. But, you know, with y'all vibrating, resonating with one another, coming up with all these different ideals and aspects of life, it's like you creating all these different lights. You creating all these different frictions. Y'all making shit. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like battling in a way, you know, but not really battling. Like, you know, like how y'all talk and y'all communicate with one another, but it's like it often comes to terms of like pointless arguments and shit like that. It's not necessarily like that. It's like having fun fighting. You know what I'm saying? It's sex. You know, it's sex. That's fucking. It's basically astral fucking. Different versions of fucking. Beyond just, you know, like using a physical entity, and you know how you have already perceived the body. You know, this is how like the body kind of developed into existence, and why it's all these different versions and forms of it. I mean, all these different lights and formats of imaginations and reality, and how we perceive them, and all these different beings that's, you know what I'm saying, existing around these parameters. It's like these guys was fucking. You know, there's this A and N, you know what I'm saying, and there's nothingness. However you would describe or explain that, there's different words and whatnot for it. But it's nothingness conceiving itself, you know. They start relating to the A and N shit. You know, they making all these different thoughts and ideals, and you know what I'm saying, what's righteous, what's wrong. Just we're talking about how motherfuckers want to come out into existence. You know, like if you was like a being or an entity that literally like you got a body, but you don't got a physical body. Can you perceive something like that? Like, because I can talk about, I'm polar, so I can talk about shit like that all day. Like you got a body, but you don't got like a body how y'all perceive it. You know what I'm saying? It's like the literal body. Most of y'all be conceiving yourselves as if you're a bodie. You know, you get lost in the life and existence you're in, but having a body, you know, that's anything. You know what I'm saying? That's literally anything. That's if it's some type of substance in which a spirit can exist through in any type of format, that's like a body, and the spirit can exist through anything, and the spirit is everything. You know, so any type of body that's not necessarily lost within death, you know, lost in consistently being within lostness or the distances of reality, being on a lower totem pole of life, so to say. You know what I'm saying? It can be a body in similar comparisons of how you are. You know, like, you know how you're a spirit in the body, and you can think, you can do shit. You know, it's different thoughts and ideals you get. You move, you do all this different shit. You got habits, you got friends, you got family. You know, all that good type of shit. You got blood and all this, all the dumbass sciences and shit y'all be coming up with. Think about the overall scheme of that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's in the same sense. It's like, you know, you being a star. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's the star existing within darkness. Now, as you create, you know what I'm saying, these consistencies of lights, eventually you start creating different diversions. You get to creating different divisions. You know what I'm saying? And you get different divinity out of that. As you get different divinity out of that, you get to building up different aspects, levels of reality around this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Different beings start popping out. You know what I'm saying? It's nothingness that's conceiving itself. It's basically creating different versions of itself. You know, like that's what motherfuckers came to the totem pole to. Like, we gonna be with each other forever. You know what I'm saying? I'm her. Like, you know, I'm just saying, like, this is like the AN speaking. It's like, I'm her. I'm already a male and a female, basically, because I can do shit. I'm the light. You know, you just her, basically, and I ain't saying nothing wrong with that. But with you just being her, that means you're everything that's her. So technically, if you start finding out the truth of yourself, you know what I'm saying, we start correcting and like ordaining or organizing, you know what I'm saying, what you are in life and reality. We start coming up with the idea that you're gonna naturally make different versions of yourself in existence. You know, you're gonna have different bodies in which you can dwell. Because I'm basically you, but I'm describing who you are, because you don't get the sense of who you are, because you the raw senses in reality. You get this how like male and females working in existence, or that's how they supposed to work. How you got this masculine and feminine aspect of yourself.
and you relate to that in day-to-day times with like, males and females. I ain't gonna say man and women, because that's like lower creations, what I'm saying? Nowadays it is, because it's like y'all do shit different. Y'all do shit different. Like man and women, that's basically expressing yourself as like the original gods. Y'all not man and woman. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't be saying. I don't know if I want to claim all that clout nowadays yet, but that's what you be saying when you express I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a woman. Like that them type of full expressions is like you claiming yourself as God. It's just different shapes and forms of it, because God is everything. A man and woman is kind of totalities of your life and existence. It's how you consistently perceive yourself. You know, so that's everything. There's just different ways of describing it, so to say. Now let me hit this black. Because with the knowingness of that, you get how we create all these different stars, we got all these different constellations, you get all these different spaces, right? After you get all these different spaces, it's like motherfuckers eventually like I became a wizard, old girl became a witch. You know what I'm saying? Like she the embodiment of natural energy. You know what I'm saying? The wizard is like, I know how to do something with that shit. Now she know how to make shit, and that shit naturally flow from her. I know how to do something with that shit, and with me doing something with that shit, I learn more about myself, so we can do more shit with that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's being witches and wizards, basically. You know what I'm saying? Some of the first beings out here in this bitch. And with that, you know what I'm saying, coming out into existence as it is, you got these different parameters and totem poles of life that was made. When you talk about these different children and these different versions of these stories, when you got different Genesis and Babylons, you know what I'm saying, these different beginnings, these different aspects of creation coming out for the first time, and the totalities of the awareness of which was dwelling in existence at that time. So you got different levels, you got different parameters, you got different names, you got different hierarchies for these beings in which they came out in different senses. They always presented themselves in different senses or times, accumulation of such things in reality. So you got different sets of people, different sets of being, different sets of languages, different sets of ages, different sets of eons. And it's literally like different sets. It's different like whole like you know what I'm saying? This is when like God, this is when like woman and man, real woman and man, when God was like, all right, we finna do something. We finna create something today. And they went out, they did some shit, you know what I'm saying? They created an existence, and then, you know what I'm saying, they let that existence go out, live its life, you know what I'm saying, while being parents, like watchers, overseers of all that good shit, you know what I'm saying, helping them be as they are. And then when it was time to make something anew, they went and basically rinsed and repeated the process. Now, I still haven't broke down the D, because all of this is them trying to get in the denseness. With on, you know what I'm saying, and it's a word for it's a word for the, I think, I don't know, I think it was like Numa or something. You know what I'm saying? And there was another word. I don't want to get lost in the story, because like I know how others may perceive it or how they like break it down. I have to break down the consistencies of all of what it truly means, because oftentimes it's like, you got to know how to conceive this shit for yourself instead of getting lost in another's perception. So I'm just talking about on, before we even get to the M. I'm just talking about on is like, it's like the man. You know what I'm saying? And then like you got the conception of space itself. Whatever name was used for that in the story, and there's different versions and allocations of that. That we're making like different bodies. You know what I'm saying? We're making different, like waters and whatnot, and life in reality. As we create all these different, spirals and vortexes to bring out that type of existence. Y'all may not get how to bring water here, but that's basically how you do that type of shit. You bring up different currencies of energies, bringing magic into reality, So, you go about doing that. As that happened, you eventually be able to come out as you truly are. You eventually be able to come out as that D. Because the whole purpose is for them to meet up and meet each other. You know what I'm saying? And likeness of having like a body in which can, truly perceive all of what they truly are. That's like what the whole journey is about. That's what everybody is going through. You trying to know your true self. You got a twin flame and all that good shit. People be expressing that shit out here, and everybody be wanting one for real. But when you start thinking about life and shit, you be like, man, fuck people. It's about being like, you ain't people. You know what I'm saying? You trying to know yourself as God.
You know, that's what everybody is truly on like the journey towards, whether you want to realize it or not. You know, you just on whatever totem pole of existence that you are in right now, but eventually you're going to be God. You know, and now with consistently living and being in life, you know, like you finding your counterpart. You know, and that's basically all it's about. That's what everybody on the journey for. That's the day-to-day life. Sex and fucking. Just different versions of it. And you know, like the original God, you know what I'm saying, the G-O and D, you know, it's trying to find itself within the D now. You know what I'm saying? And that's like being like within the D. You know, that's like being within denseness, being within a reality. You know what I'm saying? In which they're consumed in it. You know, like they don't necessarily know all the mannerisms of who they are in the instantaneously of themselves. So they got to develop in likeness as all these other beings that come from them. You know, as being the minuscule and the minuscule. I was gonna say the minuscule and the macro, but being the fuck the big shit and the small shit. The the magnitude and the minitude. Ignore that snorkel, nigga. I don't know what it's called, cause it's the big shit, small shit. You know what I'm saying? Nah. You know, it's I don't know too many words to use. You know, but you can look at yourself like, dang, I ain't shit. I'm just this tiny, you know what I'm saying, ant basically, and all this life in reality. But then, like, if you look at yourself in the big version type shit, it's like, but I bring life in reality into existence. So basically, I'm God, nigga. It's it's like knowing like how to keep like the equilibrium of that and come into reality as you are, you know, and then you relate into another. You know, that's what it's all about, and knowing God, you know, and that's how God learns. You know, they basically just go through like hella different versions and aspects of life in which they trying to truly know who they is. You know what I'm saying? So they can come together, you know what I'm saying, and whichever, you know, good shape and form they supposed to do so in. You know, but it's a journey in them both like knowing themselves. You know, so it's like, you know, woman becoming woman and man becoming man. You know, so like the man to truly know, like, you know, I'm a man. You know what I'm saying? You know all of what a man is, you know. The woman know all of what a woman is, you know. And then once they get that together, they get groovy, and then you get into like an age of heaven in existence. You know, you get into an age of totem pole of life, to where it's like, you know, you start seeing the children of gods come about and come into being. You know what I'm saying? Everything become mystical, whistical. It ain't, you won't necessarily be living in a totem pole of reality, to where it's like, damn, we just here. It's like, nah, the niggas that made here is here. You know, like that. That's like the journey you are on. You know, other than that, like you being controlled or ruled over by something, you know what I'm saying? You can't really just be all of yourself naturally. You can't always do what you want type shit. You know, or you don't like know that's like a capability, or that all these things you can imagine and fathom can be created or brought into reality in an instance. You know, if you haven't really seen no type of beings and do that type of shit in reality yet, you know, or you can't conceive that shit as possible, you know, it's like you're on a journey of that type of shit happening in your existence or in your age of time. You know, if it's not necessarily accepted as a truth yet, you're making that out to be. You know, so you're on your own journey within all of that shit. You know, and it's different suns. You know, you got the S-U-N. You know what I'm saying? It's these different beings that is representing, you know, God or that male aspect. You know what I'm saying? And then you got, you know, different beings that's representing nothing. You know, just the knowingness of things. You know, I ain't gonna get too deep because it's my magic, nigga. The knowingness of things. You know, just no thing. You know what I'm saying? You a rhythm. You just a vibration. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna get too deep. I don't want to get too deep. You know what I'm saying? Because when we talk about music, that's my real deal magic. You know, if I was an archangel, if I was really all of that shit 100%, music is my shit. You know, I consider music life. You know, that's just my opinion. You know, you can break it down however you want to. I say music is life. You know what I'm saying? I get even deeper. I say music is God. You know what I'm saying? We can go on different topics and different relations to it, but I could debate. I don't think nobody could beat me in that type of sense. I don't think you could beat me. I don't think you could do it. You know, music is like, I ain't even gonna describe it too much because I don't want to give niggas too much sauce. You can break it down. You can break it down for yourself. You know, but yeah, and that's basically all we doing. You know what I'm saying? with motherfuckers being here and in existence, you just really creating life in them shapes and forms. I gotta hit this back just a few times. It's a smoke alarm. But that's what you do it. That's what we here for. Like it's no other. Just fucking. You finding out who you are in all these different shapes and forms. You know, like what's outside of you is inside of you. And you're seeing that in life on a day-to-day basis and trying to get the sense of what that is. Yep. That's all this going on for real, cuz. And that's how God learned. Through sex. You know, through like lusting. Through fucking. You know, but it's like a lusting for knowledge. You know, knowing like who you are, like a lust for wisdom, a lust, you know, different virtues and all that good shit. Not just getting lost in lust itself. I ain't gonna go too deep. But yeah, that's that. And that's how God learns. You know, I'm thinking about how else I could break it down so basic motherfuckers could get, not just basic. So when I say basic, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I know I may come off like that because I'm a Capricorn. I just be talking, and it may sound like really egotistical, really dragonistic, and all that good shit, whatever. You know, but I speak upon like, so basic and get it. It's like as your being in reality, all of your conception can instantly know what that is. You know, even like the germs within you, even the different aspects of life that don't really get their aspect of life yet. That's why I be like the basics, so everybody that's basic can get it. When I say everybody, I'm literally talking to myself type of shit too. You know, like everybody within me, you know what I'm saying? There's beings within my existence that don't be talking or don't fuck with communication and words and shit like that. They still coming into being, you know? I'm describing shit so my kids can instantaneously get the sense of what's coming into reality. So when they do get here, you know, they got all this shit to stand upon. They got all these bases. You know, they got all these, like, I already get it. You know what I'm saying? I already got pillars and shit to where I can oversee. You know what I'm saying? I can go down. I can get all these different senses of how this shit came into life. I can see all the different levels because they got a basic view. You know what I'm saying? They already got a basic conception. If you don't got the basis of something, you can't describe it as like basic to where basic people can get it, so to say. You probably don't really know what it is. You know, you just may know a different aspect of it or, you know, some of what it is, but you don't know everything about it, so to say. You know, and breaking down everything is just how it comes into reality in all them different shapes and forms. That's basically speaking up on basic. that's what that is. You know, so that's why I talk like that. I don't be meaning to be condescending and basic this and basic that. I mean, it may naturally come off like that. It's because I'm speaking as naturalities themselves. You know. So yeah, with all that good shit, you know what I'm saying? That's what we all on the journey for. And like I say, like this is the first time, like, you know, God, you know, like before and other times, it may have not necessarily used that expression for God. It may have been different words or different sayings for it. But and you know, they even talk about like Jesus Christ, you know, talking about being the Son of God. You know, like the fuck nuggets, and you know, like the descension of God, basically. But it's not necessarily God being like I'm God, I'm the Father. You know what I'm saying? We don't necessarily got, somebody. We don't necessarily got motherfuckers just talking like that yet and truly representing what it is around this bitch, or do we? You know, we don't know. You know what I'm saying? And there's women, you know what I'm saying? Different aspects of this nothingness knowing itself, you know, just space itself knowing who it is. You know what I'm saying? Coming into being to where they're truly getting all of who they are. You know, so they do anything in like an instantaneous manner too. You know, they can sprout energy, they can make different aspects of reality in an instance. You know, they don't even got to try. They just shit just be coming from them. You know, we're slowly developing towards that point in life and reality. To where everybody getting to that godhood. You know, we enter in the age of heaven. You know, to where it's like y'all know y'all gods. You know, all these stars. It's like, you know, I'm Polaris. I know who I am. I know we're all different shapes and not all different shapes and forms, but a lot of them of who I am. You know, I know the dragon pretty well. You know, this greater and just bigger aspect of myself to where I'm flying over everybody, to where everybody got like a common sense or conception of me. You know, that's why I'm breaking down first. I come from the year of the dragon as well. You know, I'm born in 2000. It's not like I'm just saying and doing this type of shit for no reason. And it's naturally so many imaginations that's playing out to what it truly is. So it's not just me and my own la la land. You know, I'm breaking shit down with different senses and stuff, but I just may not be explaining everything to your monkey ass. You know, you got your own moon key. You know what I'm saying? And I just explain the common sense of what I'm going through, so you can get into your reality as well. Mm-hmm. Now, you know what I'm saying? As you do all that, you eventually meet your creator. You know, you eventually, you know what I'm saying, meet, when I say meet your creator, you know, like you know how to do that shit then. Or whatever you do when you meet your creator, because you always meeting your creator in different shapes and forms and all that, and all good type of shit. It's just what you do or choose, how you choose to respect this being. You know what I'm saying? That shows how like you resonate with it. You know how you synthesize and harmonize with them themselves. Y'all orchestrate in that manner of which I have respect for one another. If you're treating them as the conductor of life, you know you kind of get who got the dick and who got the pussy. You know what I'm saying? You get that sense of life. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily something to where you're lost in other man and women's ideals around these things. You know, you just trusting yourself for who you are. That take a while. You know, that take learning, and this is how God learns. You know, through them type of cycles and shit. You know, and that's how like, you know, like we learn, cause God is everything. You know, like I'm gonna talk about that a little bit real quick, cause God is not just love. You know, I say God is not love, but when I say not, you know, not is speaking about a knot. You got these different strings and pathways conjumbling up together to make like a little world or a little ball. You know what I'm saying? Some type of little spirit type of shit. Well, it's these cycles in reality knitting together to where they're making a thing that's like holding different, you know, aspects or pillars of life together. You know, that's when so when I say not, like get the spell, like when it's occultic. You know, don't get lost into no basic sense of the word. You know, we're talking about the overall of it and what it truly means. You know, but God is not love. You know, so you can say God is all love and all that good shit. But with God being all love, what is love? You got the LOVE. You know what I'm saying? The L relating to the O. You know, like it's not always gonna be nice and comfortable. Like love is not just some shit that makes you happy. You know, love is not just happiness or just you know, ultimate bliss or joyfulness as people may see it. You know, love can be hate. You know, if you're speaking on God as love, you know, love can be hate. You know what I'm saying? Love can be anger. Love can be jealousy. You know, love can be a whole lot of shit that I don't even want to say out loud. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, God is not just love. You know, God is God. You know, like love and all these different existences come from God. You know, but before it was just God. You know, and that's all that was here. You know, but God made love. You know, God made happiness. God made joy. God made sadness. God made all of this shit. You know, you just may not want to accept it, or you want to think of your own selfish conception of what God is, but God made everything. You know, you come from God, whether you like it or not. You know, God is nothingness. You know, God is your own space itself, so to say. Uh, yeah, nigga. You know, so God, you know, you can't just tie it down to it. God make everything, bitch. And it's so many different ways to say and describe that, dog. You know, so don't just get lost in one sense or, you know, one power, one element of existence. It's like, hold on now. You know what I'm saying? God, all this shit. You just like making out what God is to be for yourself. You know, and God is a whole lot of shit. God just may be love to you at that current moment. You know. But if you fucking with a true God, you know, God everything. I gotta be more than just love for us to survive. You know what I'm saying? For us to be here, else we just gonna be people. We just gonna be like everybody else. We just gonna be part of pussy and sex and shit. You know, we just gonna be a part of the existence rather than being the overall. We gonna be the overall. We gotta be more than love. You know, talking about God. You know, that's why God is not just love. You know, and that's why certain men and women express themselves as God. That's what they're trying to get to. Not just being here. Motherfuckers really trying to create heaven instead of just going there. And that's for people that's been on the total pole of lives of doing them type of things. Everybody not even supposed to be doing that type of shit. Some people are just people. It's different levels and whatnot of life. You know, I could even talk about like, you know, like the Patals. You know, just talking about, you know, like motherfuckers being made out of clay and dirt and all that good shit. All these different divine entities and deities, whatever the fuck, coming into existence, and you know what I'm saying, they put their little piece of it, put their little piece of themselves, you know, the greatest piece of themselves that they can put into that shit. You know what I'm saying? You put it up in a bubble, you put it in some dirt type shit, and it makes something. You know, like you may not get it, you may not respect yourself like this, but when I piss, like it get deep. When I piss, I know I'm creating a whole lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? With me just letting something out. When I nut, Lord Jesus, I'm making so much shit. I'm making so much shit. You know, and y'all may not know all of the power to yourselves like that. You may not look at yourself like gods and shit. You know, now in the realm of gods, you know, these motherfuckers getting together, they done made dirt. They got different aspects, you know, like animals, all these different walks of life that ain't necessarily got this conscience to perceive themselves as an individual. They just be lost in the overall common sense of their life, you know, just the experiences of themselves. You know, all these different gods and deities got to being like, hold on, what if we just got to fucking with this highest aspect of life, this dirt and shit that's matching up with all these other different elements? What if we, you know, you put, you know, all of this of yourself into this? You know, you put all of this aspect of yourself into this. You know, we get all the other little great shit we done created. We tell them to come and put, you know, like the highest aspect or basic, you know, aspects of themselves into this. And then it creates like a whole nother universe of people. You know, it creates a whole nother, you know, different, you know, age of life and existence. You know, it'll naturally erupt as such. You know, like it'll create like, you know, like when you make dirt, not dirt, that's basically what I'm describing. But it's like you already got dirt there and then you making like more, like smarter dirt. No disrespect. But I see God, I see everybody as dirt. I respect dirt as God. You know, but y'all all putting all y'all different parts of yourselves into that shit. And then, you know, that shit get to making a little womb. That shit get to making a little world to a whole bunch of people naturally sprout from that shit. How God and these, you know, goddesses and deities and divinities, all good, all that good shit came out in life in reality. You know what I'm saying? They come out in life in reality just like God did. Now they on the cycle of knowing themselves and a different, you know, totem pole aspect of the world. You know, now with that going on, you know, God get to know the true essence of itself, of herself, as you can see all these different versions of you being within life. You know, you go and play with them. You know what I'm saying? You go and be with them, enjoy. You go and arise them as they are. You get them to know like the highest likeness, you know, all the different attributes and knowingness of themselves. So then you know yourself too. You know what I'm saying? Because we can break down who they is just like how you made that shit out into existence. You know, it's having fun within life rather than just being still and just being in that shit. You know, that's when motherfuckers get to not wanting to be here and shit no more. You know, that's when death and winter and shit get created. Motherfuckers be like, man, that shit kind of dead. We need to do something else. We need to. I ain't liking this shit no more. You know, the woman or the man be like, man, this shit ain't right. We need to. I'm tired. We need to move. We need to go see some new shit. We need to create something new. I ain't tired of this shit yet. We've been doing the same shit for how long? You know, and that's like gods and goddesses, you know, coming together and being like, oh, it's time to make something new. You know, and that's how they do that. They all put their different aspects of themselves, all their different waters, you know what I'm saying? Then all these different versions of that, they put the sauce together and then, you know what I'm saying, they come out to be something. And then you get people, you know what I'm saying? Then you get humans. You know, you got all these different aspects of hues, you know, all these different colors and visions and their newnesses within life themselves. All that good shit come together and make something, you know what I'm saying? Then that shit get, you know what I'm saying, that shit be in life for hellas. That shit eventually do what it do, you know what I'm saying? It has this little play of life up on its own stage of reality, you know, its own age and conception of that themselves. You know, they get to pinpointing how they see shit, breaking down shit. You know, different spirits become different people, different personas, you know, all that good shit. Just like how God and, you know what I'm saying, goddesses and all these divinities and all what have already lived their lives. You know, they get to making a whole bunch of different shit. You know, these gods and goddesses basically living through them is power and elements and all these different aspects of existence. Now, when they get to truly knowing themselves and all that good shit, all these different beings get to waking up and they be like, we be like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? We got different shit to do. You know, like life ain't necessarily the same as how we conceive it. Now we finna add our sauce to what this is. You know, so all them different basic versions and aspects of life have whatever age or stage, you know, or aspect of dimensions, however you want to see that shit of existence that they're in, get to dwelling with gods. You know, gods and shit get to relating to that shit and the naturalities. Like, God is here. You know, you can't say I'm not God because I can do this, this, and this. I can create you, nigga. I can create different aspects. So I can tell you how you got here in all your different shapes and forms, and I don't even know you. You know, I can show you my child. I can show you my kid. You know what I'm saying? I can show you I'm absolute. I'm your parent, and however you want to describe me. You know, like that's truly being God. You know, you kind of get like whatever you want to say or whatever you want to believe in. If you God, you can show me or do what this. If you God, why this, why did, then I can show you all the whys because you come from me. You know, I really got the answers like that. Otherwise, like, it ain't necessarily your God. It's not necessarily, like, you know what I'm saying, the goddess or God or whatnot that you come from, or the greatest aspect of that you related to or that you lost into. Anyway, these motherfuckers start dwelling with you, as they know themselves, because they done woke up, they done been in your life in reality, you know what I'm saying, helping you in all these different shapes and forms. Then they pop out, they come here too, and they know how to express themselves as God. And you eventually come in some likeness or comprehension to where you can conceive them in that way, and beyond just conceiving them, it's like you truly get to see him. You know what I'm saying? Like you've been talking about this God and this imagination, trying to remember who you truly are in all these different ways, shapes, and forms. You've been waking up yourself. You've been waking up God. So eventually, God pop out in this bitch as a spirit in the body. In whatever shape and form it do it in. Whether it's in a likeness to you or it's in like a different aspect of life or reality in which you not may respect as yourself. It pop out and be like, I'm God. You know what I'm saying? And you this, and this, but I'm God. Y'all surely get to see the difference between yourselves and the different aspect of realities in which you play. And then you get to knowing who everybody is truly. And then it'd be like a golden age of existence to where everybody know who they are. Everybody know their light, everybody know their life, because it's like God here to explain everything. We can talk to him, we can talk to her. You know what I'm saying? We can figure this shit out. Because I may not know the questions or answers for myself. Now just talking to nothingness and trying to resonate with this shit, I can just go call this motherfucker. I just go pull up, what I'm saying? I just go see this person. I can ask some questions to, maybe it's one of their consorts or advisors or something like that. I can get in contact with this person. You know what I'm saying? They can give me some knowledge or wisdom. They can break down one of these questions I got, you know what I'm saying? If it gets to them, you know what I'm saying? In whichever manner, wisdom, and however you get to God in your reality. But God should have enough messengers. And it's like when you God, like you don't necessarily, and you hear immortality, you don't necessarily got to act in the same ways as others. Like a motherfucker got a question over who God is, or if that's God truly, you lost in whatever aspect of imagination or whatever it is, I'll have that person, that aspect, and its truthiness come and talk to you and tell you I'm God. Like for real. It'll happen. Whatever angel or demon you want to get lost in, they'll come and talk to you and be like, yeah, that nigga God, he was trying to tell you. Like it ain't no cap. Not rather than whatever else going on. I have the wind talk to your ass. You know what I'm saying? I have the sea arise as a sea and talk to you. You raise up a statue, a stone. I made the stone and all that good shit start talking and communicating. And tell this nigga I'm God, please. Because they disrespecting me. You don't think I'm a volcano, so you don't think I'm that volcano. Just start speaking to them because they got me fucked up. It'll be like you think it's just spirits, or you need to see some gold, you need to see some alien ships or aliens respect. Will y'all please tell them that I'm such and such? Will y'all please tell them that all this shit that I'm that, I'm where that comes from. I'm how that got to that. Let's talk about that. It'll be that type of shit. That's how you know it's God for real. All these different higher deities and higher ideals, they'd be like, yeah, that's God. We don't know what else to tell you. You're just not accepting it. It may look like this or that. You may be lost in your own focus or perception, how you perceiving that. That's God right there. It just may not be showing all of itself to you, because God don't got to do that shit. Why do God got to cater to you when they're God? You're just a child and kid that, you ain't respecting them. Why would they claim you? It get different. They look at sex and all. They look at themselves as the overall body in which we're consistently moving through and existing in. My spirit is moving through you. You know what I'm saying? I am the spirit. You don't even recognize that. You don't even live as a spirit. You ain't even trying to. You ain't even been through them type of experiences, the trials and tribulations, and living through that type of mannerism of existence. So you don't get how to be here and be nothingness, but I do. And I can break that down and have whatever you think is nothingness or the conception of that itself, express it and talk to you like, yeah, that's God. You know what I'm saying? That's Poppy. You know what I'm saying? That's the motherfucker we all come from. Rather however you want to see it, whatever you want to get lost into, that's him. Even different goddesses or whatever we come from, you know what I'm saying? It's God. I show you like, yeah, that's her. You just lost in your own shit. You just don't accept her exist, but that's her. It may be a few different hers, just like it's a few different hymns, but that's all the same person. That's all the same shit. It's the originals, and then it's the motherfuckers that come from them. It's the originals, and you got the creations from the original. The originals, you know what I'm saying? It take a while for them to wake up and truly know themselves. But it's a whole bunch of different aspects of creation. Just like it's been a whole bunch of different times and ages in which we come from. And like the best expression from like where we all come from be like God, that's G-O-D. You know what I'm saying? I mean, no better way to describe it.
God. It's all these different words and different beings, different elements of life and reality. But when you talk about just coming into being, it's that G-O-D. I don't know what else we're gonna say. Like, it's different, all these other different names and all that good shit. I could break down the elements and the ages and what they was expressing with the symbols and why it's this meaning that and that, how you relate it to your language or whatever, how you perceive all that shit or whatever, you know. But with all of that, bro, you just gonna come back to the sense of God, the overall and different names and whatnot for it. At least in my language and how we speak, and you may have literal another word and whatnot for that, but I guarantee you, I can show you, man, that shit really just trying to be God. That shit really just trying to know itself as that G-O-D. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The G is even like the seventh. Like the sense, like the angel. You know what I'm saying? I ain't just about to count the letters, but it's the seventh letter. You know what I'm saying? Just talking about growing and seeing even, having all of the equilibrium, knowing all of yourself in existence, basically, that's the G. You know what I'm saying? You can break down the rest of it for yourself and how you do. But you can use different names for it, but the name not going to be great as God. You're going to have to use like a different attachment to it. You can just use one letterism as God and whatnot, but that's just speaking about symbols and shit. They ain't necessarily God, because that's not spelling out the G-O-D, And it's like all these different aspects of life and reality just been coming into existence to know itself as God, And then we about to live in an age of that, if God, as God, truly comes to know itself, you may get a chance to exist in that type of mortality, and then y'all create heaven, because it's being recognized that he's heaven. He is the heaven. Like, he can call himself heaven and be respected as it. All them different stars and good shit, it makes stars follow him for real. And just start making stars move. You probably ain't never seen no shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all looking up at stars and be like, you see how that shit look? Finna make it look different. And what's going on? Is this the Matrix? Nah, bitch, we in life and you next to God right now. You can't. You may not be able to accept that type of shit, but that's what's happening. That's you. You talking to God. You in my presence. So yeah, yay. That's that's what all that shit is, and it's different children of God, it's different kids, it's different angles, it's different angels, you know what I'm saying? It's different, you know what I'm saying, Elohims, it's different Anunnakis, it's different, stars, it's different deities and whatnot that all, represent and express what God is truly. And they relate to God in different ways, shapes, and forms. All that shit, you just talking about God, family, kind of the force of God light and God's light in reality. God's life, and then when you consistently have different cycles of all that good shit, you talking about God's bloodline, you talking about God's royalty, you talking about the hierarchy, how these different beings came into existence and started recognizing each other and relating to each other and whatever type of water or womb of existence they are in. That's the hierarchy. That's like what royalty is truly supposed to be. And that's why I don't necessarily be claiming that shit like that yet, or saying I'm royalty, or just like, just getting lost in all that type of conception too much, even though I do come from different, mortalities and relations to that. It's just like royalty don't truly recognize itself, so I'm not finna claim that type of shit. Not gonna be royalty by my damn self, but like me, myself, and I, like I don't gotta speak. I don't gotta be out here and trying to communicate with royalty, because we all know we royalty. Truly. You know what I'm saying? And like life ain't necessarily like that. Because all these different spirits and bodies and beings and this mortality, they not respecting royalty as royalty. If it was, like when you see me, you would want to bow. You would be so amazed and breathtaking. Like you gonna come and talk to me and respect me as God. Like that's what royalty is. Like it's not me trying to force you to do this, me trying to tell you to give me these offerings or whatever. You start being like, this nigga is God. We gonna give him whatever he want. The purest. I'm just saying, that's what I be on with God. We gonna give him all of these riches, and this all yours, and you made us, nigga. You how we all got hurt. You can break that shit down. That make whatever you want. You want what? You want those? That's how people would naturally be towards God. You would want to cater towards this being to try to learn some of its existence and likeness of your own. When you got these beings in reality acting in mannerisms to where you're trying to take from God, you know what I'm saying? Y'all lost, literally lost. That's you're living as lostness. That's a different version and aspect of God too. but y'all living as that. You know what I'm saying? And us trying to relate to that being, you don't really know God. You just know what God look like. You know what I'm saying? And that may be crazy or whatever, but you're just getting lost in looks. You're just looking at shit and think you know something. You ain't really sitting there talking, communicating, trying to express or relate in a truthful and honest sense. You hiding behind lies. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at different lines and multitudes of reality. You like, I'm gonna act through this. I've been speculating through this instead of honestly being like, man, this nigga God, I got a question I want to ask. Hey, it's this motherfucker God, I want to ask you this, and that. This motherfucker God, I want to tap in like this, and that. I see you God, I'm gonna ask this, and that. I see you God, I'm gonna respect you and talk to you like this because you God. You know what I'm saying? What about this one in reality? You God, so I'm trying to see this, and that. And beyond them different totem poles, because every being in existence may not necessarily respect God in that likeness, because you got angels, you know what I'm saying? You got different, and everybody not no fucking angel. I don't want to hurt my fucking feelings, but Lord, not everybody want to be an archangel. Uriel done started this shit, and y'all done got lost. Y'all may be possessed by an angel, but you may not be that angel. To be an angel here, y'all don't even get what that means, especially being an archangel and shit. You can be an angel, but y'all be talking about being archangels. You know how hard it is for us to get into reality? Lord Jesus. I could talk about that shit, speaking as king, I'll talk about Azrael, Raza, I talk about all that shit. No, if I'm being honest about some of these different angels, I came into reality with 3 different beings, right? Now Darius, me being an archangel of mysteries and secrets and all that Loki ass type of nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's how I be through the heavens, existing, moving and grooving. That's how I be around this bitch. I came through I got more names than just Darius. Darius, I say a player, representing I don't feel like talking about that. But anyway, for you to be an archangel or whatever here for real, you had to have about 4 deities or 4 angels, so to say, die and come with you. That's the only way your body even come here. I talk about Azrael and Raziel being my wings. I got videos and expressions and whatnot up on that. You an archangel, you know what I'm saying? And you're here in existence. You basically living as Jesus Christ around this bitch. And not only that, you need protectors, your knights and shit, I only want to express these different aspects of your knowingness that are in reality and whichever type of conception that they are in. They came, it was like, you trying to come to reality? You trying to come to mortality? Oh, no, we ain't going for that. If you going in mortality, nigga, we coming with you. It's real, you have real deal protectors. Motherfuckers already recognize you as royalty. And they die for you, nigga. They come into reality as you. They we gonna be all one in that bitch, and you at least need 2 of them motherfuckers to go with you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all represent a trinity, and y'all come into existence now. One person represents the true idea of what we are, and that be the representation of what it is. That's why I talk about Azrael, Raziel, even Sandalphon, and then Barashael. And then Samael, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about myself in all these different levels of how I got all these different bodies. Not Samuel, Samael. The I. It's different Lucifers and there's different ways to pronounce them and vibe with that name. I'm Luzel. I ain't gonna go too deep in it. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot when you talk about angels. Are you this? And you that? And you that? Well, tell me how you got here. Tell me what all this mean and break it down. And don't say it's just la la land bullshit, because why you even letting that shit exist then? If you God. Nigga, please. Tell me what. All these crazy imaginations and shit like that. Are you just letting that shit exist? All this disrespect. God don't fuck with disrespect at all. So you gotta tell me the truth of what all that shit is. If you God, if you an archangel, you a different aspect of God basically. And God don't mind you going and representing yourself like that. Using different faces and all that good. That shit get deep. You said you an archangel. Have you been all these different? You been a giant? You know how to be an iris. You know how to be a planet. You know how to be nothingness. You know how to be the void. You know how to be shadows. You know what I'm saying? You jump into you know how to be universes. You know how to be galaxies. You can make stars move up on your wheel. The moon and shit listen to you. The water's vibes. Everybody listen to your order. I didn't think so. The motherfuckers naturally. Do motherfuckers naturally respect you? Like, I'm talking about all these different beings. Because when you an angel and shit like that, like, it's like when you get to them higher realms, it's like everybody know who each other is because we naked. Y'all get lost in symbols and denseness and mortality. If you really built like that, then all these different aspects of reality respect you like God. All these different demons, all these different, it's all angels and shit. You know what I'm saying? If you God, if you an archangel at that, angels, you still up on the totem pole learning about that shit. You on your pathway of ascension. But you an archangel? Yeah, everything should respect you like that. Everybody already know not to play with you. Y'all respect each other as God. So you have to break yourself down like that. You know what I'm saying? And you go through your different wars and trials and tribulations. I ain't saying you ain't supposed to have no experiences, but you got to break all that shit down as God. You got to tell me how you was God through all of that. And you've been standing and while otherwise you're not God. You know what I'm saying? You can be something else. I'm just saying, like, archangels are basically God, is what I'm expressing. But you probably not all of that, You probably not divinity. You know what I'm saying? You may be a human, you may be humanity. You know what I'm saying? But you're not divinity. You try to get there. Some of us have been there for so fucking long, we tired of this. We tired of how y'all even look at that shit. Wrong, bitch, accept it. There's nothing wrong with being wrong. You got lost into the music. You've been dancing in life and reality and just enjoying this shit. Let's get serious for a second. Let's get specific. Let's talk about these details. Can you know how to show you how to analyze this shit? You know how to do that shit truly. Otherwise, you may not be all that shit you talking about. Big pimping. You may not be all that shit you expressing. You know what I'm saying? You may be an angel, or you may be part of God. You may not be just God. God can just say he God. It's different from like you talking about gods and you talking about Aries. You know what I'm saying? Aries can talk like Aries. Aries can go around and talk like Aries, and he be like, you see all that shit, God? Nigga, that's God. I'm God. You don't understand how I'm God? But he would say, I'm God. You see all that shit? That's my gift from Aries. You hear my name? You hear all this different? That's all this different. Aries. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be different. You know what I'm saying? You real deal Poseidon or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a different taste than just being God. You know what I'm saying? You know how to be that Trinity. I know how this on a whole different totem pole of life. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole lot of different shit that done happen. You could probably break down and talk about some crazy tales and stories for real. All type of epic shit. Oh yeah. If you a God, that's how you coming. You know what I'm saying? And it's different. You even know how to talk and express yourself in different levels. And then once you start respecting yourself, you start respecting your power, nigga. It be a rap. Cause it be like nothing can't fuck with you because you the spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of beings in reality just living through the conception of who you truly are. So whenever you want to make something crack or do something, it's like you can have people in life and whatnot respect you. It's not about how people see your sense of stability or how they view riches or whatever in life. Like you and Shoma, you talking all of this and that, but you ain't rich how I'm rich. I am what rich is. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll show you. You think you got? I'll take it from you. You know what I'm saying? You breathing my air. Hold on now. You don't get what richness is. You got water and shit. Let me get that shit back. Since you rich, since you that money, let me go ahead and get my shit back. You know what I'm saying? You ain't respected it enough. If you was God, that's how you coming. You know what I'm saying? It's in a whole different way of life. It'd be different trying to stand on your shit or trying to seem cool or almighty, absolute, spreading your ego, expressing yourself overall through other beings. It's like, bro, like, I'll really take the earth from you. And fuck the earth, I'll take your space from you. Fuck that, whatever bubble or matrix and shit you in, I can make that shit gone. You with the sun and all, nah, black, that you would be in darkness real quick. You know what I'm saying? You would be in a life of your own real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'll take everybody out your reality and you would be existing by yourself real quick. It'll just be demons playing out personas, or maybe not even be that. You may just be alone in that bitch. Of God, I can see you to a place like that for real. You just to the physical. You're not the psyche. You're not us. You don't know how to live like that. You know what I'm saying? We don't trust you like that. You still working your ways up to truly ascend in life and reality, to be one of these beings or entities, one of these words that created all of existence. You ain't one of us. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't talking and being like that, when a motherfucker getting all uppity and Well, I'm this, you're that, I mean, then, hold on, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Your skin, Lord Jesus will go there. I don't think you even know how you created that. You know, you don't even know the wheels of existence that got you here. You got us fucked up. You know, I'm one of them. You know, you gonna respect me, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Honestly, you get to talking disrespect on a God name, shit get to happen to you for real. You know, we is power. There you go. When we talk about power, that's how niggas just get here. You know what I'm saying? Through power. I mean, you have to do something. Otherwise, you will still be nothingness. You have to live through all these different lives in reality. You have to make choices, decisions, judgment upon your own. You know, start making your own soul and spirit and likeness of God. And then you go through all these lives and it's a fun ass journey. You're supposed to enjoy this shit rather than looking like, fuck, I'm gonna be here for. You're gonna be in different years. You know what I'm saying, nigga? You might be here in mortality right now in this present. Don't look at it like you gotta die or get out of this vessel. You just in this. You're in this presence. You here right now, but you can make happiness. You can make something happen. You start living towards some likeness and what you want to bring into reality with your imagination. You know, instead of just existing in the dual reality that you being in, you want to exist with Super Saiyans, nigga. You'll be able to start being around Super Saiyans. You want wizards. You want to start being around real deal magic, dragonborn motherfuckers. I'm trying to think of some other magical, mystical shit. Full Metal Alchemisters and shit. I don't know. It's a whole bunch of different little cool words for people. You know, you start existing in more of a light manner of life to where you start seeing shit like, damn, I ain't never think I was gonna get to experience something like this. Yay. You start real deal being an alien, you know what I'm saying, towards the past ways of life in which you was living. You start making a new land in reality. That dirt, all that shit starts becoming light. You know what I'm saying? You start saying all that shit is God, it becomes a whole different totem pole of existence. You might be in realities to where like trees start moving and start talking and speaking to you. Dirt start moving and land masses and waters and shit. You start, these niggas start talking and fucking with you and popping out in bodies and forms like, what up? You know what I'm saying? You get to seeing that type of shit. It'd be like, hold on, this is the type of shit. This God reality. This ain't no mortal. This ain't no just human. This ain't no regular shit. This is what Elvis and all these little storybooks of motherfuckers. This what I'm trying to get to. You being all that shit. You fucking around, find God, different versions of that shit. Y'all start making heaven. How you come from light and all that good shit. You make a heaven of your own. You know, because you got your own heavens. You literally come from heaven. Everybody does. Everybody God for real. That's how I see it. No, I ain't gonna get too deep with that. But everybody is God, literally. You know, all that shit mines. You know what I'm saying? When I speak like that, I mean it literally. You can take it however you want to. All this shit is me. You know? So, you know what I'm saying? Once you start jumping in them type of total poles, it's like, oh yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a whole different, this what I want to be in. Not that we mortal, lostness, death, and decay. We just repeating the same cycles. I gotta listen to this bullshit I did and this and that. And bitch, I got superpowers. I gotta walk. I gotta catch a train and get on a car and get all that. Now I should be able to fly to that bitch. You know, wings or not, nigga. I am wings. Goddamn it, I should be able to make that shit in an instant. I should be able to go here, there, do that. I want to pop out of here. I should be able to go and go do that shit. I'm God, bitch. You know, it's like you start truly recognizing yourself like that because you're recognizing God in your reality. You're respecting God in existence. So God start respecting you. You know what I'm saying? And you start living as God throughout this bitch. All that regular mundane shit, you turn all that shit to God, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Basic shit like fire and all, you start speaking of flames. I start talking to you. That may be a little scary for a lot of people, but, you know, you start being in attachment with the spirit for real. You know, you can never detach. You know, you get to knowing God, you get to knowing that space. You be like, oh shit, this all it is. I can just make my own shit now. Eventually, you get to the totem pole of life, nigga. You make your own worlds, nigga. You make your own universes, nigga. You make your own light. You make your own existence. You make your own voids, nigga. It get deep, nigga. You get to know how to make every like you get to really know how to do shit. You know, so now it's like, bro, like I don't like this world. I'm finna go make one of my own. You know, I'm finna shake out after I handle these different responsibilities or whatever. I'm finna go to my own world. Oh, I got shit set up. I want shit set up. I'm gonna go over there and get that shit together, live like that for a while. Then I may come back and fuck with y'all. You know, it's different worlds and shit. I'm gonna see what Brody on. If I'm allowed in that space, come through, you know what I'm saying, live over there for a little second. You know, or whatever, you know what I'm saying. I may want all different type of shit. You know, you get talking to all these different divinities and deities. You know, like, you want to be some primordial water, so you want to see how that shit is. You want to be this, make this, learn all that, and you fucking with them. You get to, You know what I'm saying? You got all these different, but you everybody, you God. You everybody, nigga. Like, nigga deep. Everybody fuck with you. You start being a lust in existence, nigga. Your life start getting different. You know, they'll be able to say total pole if I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to, all you is trying. Hold on now. You know what I'm saying? Everybody trying to be me if we being serious. What am I even trying to do something else rather than be myself for? That shit dead. That's me trying to be one of these different aspects of life and reality that's just here, like trying to create more shit and know who they is. I already know myself. I know thyself. I know I'm no thing. I know I'm nothingness. I know how to be all of that in reality, all these different aspects of me know that shit. I'm God. What I gotta be like you for? You know what I'm saying? You was me. You know what I'm saying? You trying to be me Darius. You trying to pinpoint your existence. You trying to learn about your area. What conception you here for? You ain't me, nigga. You know, I can do whatever the fuck I want to. You ain't God like me. Hold on. Like, if I'm God, I don't gotta listen to shit you saying. You know what I'm saying? I am the listen. You know, I am the blessing. Nigga, I'm the gift itself. Nigga, what am I trying to fuck with a likeness of Yah for? That's living as God. Truly. You know what I'm saying? Once you get to them points, it's just, you know, building yourself up and knowing your spirals and then getting to all that good shit so all your existence can come out and express itself like that in an instance whenever it wants to and how it's truly supposed to. Everything will be perfect. Look, you've been trying to perfect yourself for so long, putting all your art, all these different aspects of yourself together, then you got a good vision, you got a good vision of it, you got your own avatar. You know what I'm saying? So now you know your own avatar, you know how to expand your life wherever, whenever. You know, so you speaking in this consistencies or in this reality, you lost in this. Hold on, I'm God over there. Hold on, I'm God over there too. Hold on, I'm God over there too. You in this lostness, I'm gonna quickly show you that you ain't me. You don't relate to who I am. You just lost in your own shit. And you're just gonna be dealing with nonsense until you accept that shit. You know? That's being God. You know, that's how God learned. Just being through these lives and existences with others, you know what I'm saying, and fucking with all these different aspects of reality. You don't really see none and think it's like less than you for real. You be like, you God, you know what I'm saying? If you don't respect me like God, you lost, so why I gotta fuck with any of your shit? I'm not lost in this, I'm finna leave. You know what I'm saying? You had your chance. I done gave you charity. Since you so smart, since you think, oh, you this, and this, you can go live on your own. You can survive on your own and see how that shit is. See if you can handle that cold. See if you can handle that winter without my light. See if you can be a son. You think you all this. Go and see what your shit do. Play ball. You know, but it's all different type of other shit that might try to eat you and consume you to be better than you, and they already know themselves better, so that's probably what you finna have happen to you. You have to repeat a cycle till you start accepting and appreciating what God is. Karma. Simple. You know what I'm saying? Your little coordination coming out into reality in the different lives and wombs that you in. The overall expression, the overall currency. You know, do you know how to exist as lightning? Do you know how to come into reality like that? I don't think so. Can you can you explain your stories, you know, without other people talking about them? And then as you explaining and talking about your shit, motherfuckers be like, whoa, you know, that's a story about this God, and you just got done talking about this and this shit mash up. Different scholars that's been studying life and existence this whole time, different occultists and shit, whatever, they be like, oh yeah, you know, you this and that. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Beyond that, then you might get in some games. You might get motherfuckers may try to test you and fuck with you like you ain't God. Eventually, if you know all your power, motherfuckers ain't got no choice but to respect you like that. You know what I'm saying? People start being on bullshit, start wanting to use you or something. Like you was showing nigga, you not used. I am used, and I can use you whenever. You know what I'm saying? You start showing motherfuckers when you start being in the likeness of a king consistently. You know, you is the knowingness. Everybody start looking at you and respecting you like that. They ain't got no choice. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, they got to go somewhere else or get gone. You know what I'm saying? They got to go through their own life and reality, their own totem poles of existence, their own cycles. They got to go through days of that. They got to go through lifetimes and eras of living in that before they can even be by you. You know what I'm saying? Or be in the likeness of your existence. That's how it play out. Mm-hmm. So that's the type of stage that God exists for. You always in the heavens, no matter where you at. All of your being and body, you is heaven. You know? And people will start respecting you, and like you have to start dealing with that type of shit consistently. You know, I'm some motherfuckers get addicted to you like you dope like that. You crack, you know what I'm saying? You that substance, you know, you the vice. You know what I'm saying? You the vice lord. I don't want to say that. But motherfuckers start treating you and shit like that. You know, it's like I want to get all my sauce. I want to come fuck with you. I want to come learn from you. I want to be with you. You know, motherfuckers will start respecting you like that, and then you deal with whatever, you know, different totem poles of life, start learning how to ordain and respect their responsibilities and that likeness. But your life would be like that rather than you being like, I'm a human, I'm a mortal, I'm this mortal conception, I'm this imagination, I'm this idea. Hold on, nigga. I am the imaginer, I'm the I man. You know what I'm saying? I'm a generation. I'm the whole hold on now, I'm all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm all the ideas, I'm all these waters. Oh, you just talking about some me shit. That's all you really talking about is breaking down. And you'll be able to talk to anybody and truly tell them about themselves or whatever they lost in like that. You know, whatever question the person asks you, you really got to answer for it. It's just deciding if you want to give them the truth for that shit or if they deserve it. And that's being God. You living on that type of stage. That's the type of age and existence you consistently going through. When you are God. You know, all the other shit, you probably just talking about something. You probably lost in your own shit. You probably got your own la la land, you and your own little music and vibration and rhythm that you've been making up in life and reality. You not just, you lost in your own selfishness. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, you're not comprehending, you're not vibrating with the whole team, you ain't making the dream work. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna play the aspect of the dream. You ain't gonna play the aspect of what's coming out in life and reality like that. You're just gonna be a part of it. Like you got your part, you got your role. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't the whole stage. You know what I'm saying? You don't make with existence in the age. You can't change my life in the end. You can't do that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't got them type of rights or allowances. You know, I do you. You know what I'm saying? The different aspects of that type of shit that you got is you know yourself more and more. You may be God in different versions, shapes and forms. You know what I'm saying? You learn about your goddess. You learn about these different aspects and entities in which you come from truly. And you get to be able to have them powers and gifts and blessings because you're respecting God like that. You know what I'm saying? As you respect and bless God with your offerings and just paying attention and focusing upon these aspects of who they truly are, you know, they give you the same shit back because as you peering to them, they peering to you. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of expression that y'all be talking about in life. But anyway, Kairos, you know what I'm saying? Big old Rose on big old Grim Rose, you know what I'm saying? Big old Darius Isaiah play around this bitch. Big old Dip, Polaris himself. You know what I'm saying? I am the light. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers trying to beat me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't me though. You know, it's a I'm me Darius. You know, Isaiah player. It's a whole lot of us. You know, it's a whole lot of different spirits and bodies. You know, so I ain't trying to just take all that clout and all that fame, and claim what all of that is for myself. You know, I just see myself as me, myself, and I. You know, I don't really get lost into nobody else's opinion or ideas. You know, let's talk about the truth because I know what that is. You know, I know what nothingness is. I know who we all are. You know, so it goes beyond like your opinion or just your own speculative perception of what you want to express in life and reality. Can you explain how that truly relates to us all? Can you get a basic manner to where everybody understand and understand that shit? You know what I'm saying? If you can't really talk, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker can't get the sense of that from you. I don't really know if you God like that. You know, you may not be my goddess. You may not be my God. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta go on my own totem pole of life and figure out and talk to God, go through my cycles and whatever. You know what I'm saying? Till I get that point of knowing God for real. You know, then we can come back and relate. If you truly is God, we'll be in the same space. You know what I'm saying? I have no choice but to relate back to the true sense of what you were saying in the first place. Because for you to express some words for me, if you God, you speaking the truth and honesty. You know, you harmonizing with all of life and existence as you are. You know, you kind of is the vessel. All this different waters, space, galaxy, all these different stars, they choosing you to talk. You know what I'm saying? So all your words, it's gonna hit for what it's supposed to. You know, when I'm impacted by it, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna make me realize, like, damn, you God. You know, damn, you here with us, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's shit like that. You know, but first you just gotta respect everybody and everything is God, and then God will respect you like that, cause you respecting what God truly is, since everything comes from God. You know, yeah, that's the basis. But that's how God learns cycles, nigga. Sex, lust, fucking. You know, we're in higher, lighter fucking, not necessarily just doing it with your physical body. You know, all these different parts that play a part of your physicality, you be fucking with all of that. You be having sex and creating. You know, you be lost in lust and being in bliss with all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? And y'all all light, y'all be nothingness. Y'all a whole constellation and shit like that. Motherfuckers be like, whoa, you all of this. You know, as you living in existence, motherfuckers will start respecting you like that. But yeah, that's how God learns. You know what I'm saying? Through them cycles. Through that good old karma, bitch. You know, that's